Fryberto, if you are not going to be on stream, are you eating a hair thingy? Goodness. Monday is Thursday ever. Good morning, everyone. Sorry about the time shenanigans. As I posted, yes, the youngest most fair. Give it. That is a hair thingy, not a fry thingy. What is wrong with you? All of you ferals. It is the Mondayest Thursday ever. Good morning, JKD Buck, Eris, and everyone who showed up at 6:30. I am sorry. Greedy Bloke Flux and Danny Dennis Heaton, sorry. Feral Housewife alerted me that I had put the wrong time in because and welcome alternate journal and juror and making law simple. Yes, we were up at 4:30 this morning debating if Pluto is not a planet, then why can't we blow it up, and why we hadn't seen a black hole, which I translated to black hole, and why we couldn't put dynamite in it. um yeah, it's been a morning already. Yes, it has been. Uh, yeah, so the youngest, most feral is very much into planets now, and he's upset that Pluto is no longer a planet, but he feels like we should blow it up if it's no longer a planet. I mean, why not explode things if they're no longer useful? I don't know. I don't know. This is from the same child that gave us all of the fun stories. So, yeah, I did wonder when he woke me up at 4:30 with that question. I was like, "What are you watching?" And he's like, the things that suck in all the light." And I was like, "Oh, okay, though, yes. Well, no, I don't think anyone's attempted to put dynamite and explode one, but if you are really good in school, I'm sure you could be, you know, an astrophysicist and try that out." So, to make up for the missing time when we get to the end of this broadcast and the most amusing part of this, I will give you the Stay Married and Mr. Mo's favorite meatloaf recipe. I will try to pare it down for just a single person. And why the heck is this? I have you on silent. No idea. But I will try to pare it down to a smaller family than mine, kind of recipe size. And I will also give you ideas. If you are a single-ish person, you can definitely make meatloaf in muffin tins, and then you have single size meatloaves that you can have and freeze, and they're ready. I did that a lot when I was taking my lunch or Mr. Mo was taking his lunch before he switched to salads. So there you go. But in our first story of the day, in fighting racism and taste and sinking more money into a sinking ship, uh, the Rings of Prime have cast Gavi Singh Chera as the original Sauron in Rings of Power. Now, what they are attempting to do, and apparently in this next year's season, well, Galadriel remembers she's married, which is kind of good because, she was doing the bedroom F me eyes to, the evil guy. So, in theory, Celeborn is supposed to come and she's supposed to remember that she's married. So, there you go, because she kind of just made fun of him in the last season. But for those of you not giant nerds, in the real Lord of the Rings, in the real Silmarillion, Sauron disguises himself in a very angelic and beautiful form to go to the elves to make him to give them the sort of crafting skills to make the rings of power. So they cast this guy to be the beautiful form, apparently. This is what happens when you put morons in charge of things. But apparently Jeff Bezos has nothing better to do, and he refuses to get a white fluffy cat to become Dr. Evil. So there you go. Racism is done. This is your new Anatar, Lord of Gifts. I'm just here to give gifts and knowledge. Yeah, so I will continue not to watch because I tried to watch one episode in the first 5 minutes where the brother explained the boat floats because it looks at the sky and it has hope, and the rock sinks because it looks down and it sees darkness. And I thought I had an aortic aneurysm and a transit ischemic attack stroke. I thought I smelt burnt toast. I no longer wanted to live on this planet. I just could not. So I will continue not to watch unless to make fun of. So yes, this is why we cannot have nice things. Oh, someone has decided to grace us with his presence. Sir, we're working on drop it. You have to drop it in my lap. Good morning, greedy bloke. Thank you for coming back. Yeah, it would seem that that if yeah, this is the dumbest thing ever. Anywho, but on the plus side, on the plus side, if we wanted to generate green energy, the amount of rotations that I think Tolkien and his son are doing in their graves right now could power the entire world. So there you go. Green energy, the world is saved. Jeff Bezos has saved us all with his crappy show. Wonderful. Friberto. It just one nice thing. So that is that story. In other news, a Banksy stop sign in London was nabbed with bolt cutters an hour after it was revealed. Now, I am gathering that Banksy is a famous artist somewhere, and he apparently graffitied a stop sign for reasons. Now, not being an artist myself or a modern artist, and good morning, Jude. Thank you for joining us. Fry is, licking his nether regions. Control your envy. This is not that channel. Good morning, Phoenix Fire. Good morning, Crime Spies. I'll put Fry back on once he's done with self-care. When you just surrender to the mundaneness, of the Thursday, it's just going to happen. The elusive artist Banksy displayed his latest work on a London street corner, and it took less than an hour after he confirmed its installation Friday for it to be stolen. A red stop sign with 3 military drones on it was taken in the middle of the day by a man with bolt cutters as witnesses snapped photos and shot video of it in the Peckham section of South London. I guess he's going to be found, allegedly. I don't know. Yeah, y'all, it after having a heated debate about whether or not to blow up Pluto, my day has been set as absurdist and Waiting for Godot. If you've seen that play, absurdism is just going to be my mode for today. People commenting on Banksy's Instagram accurately predicted it wouldn't be long after the artist posted a photo of it. Some of his work has sold for tens of millions of dollars. Now, I I don't want to be an uncultured rube, and don't come at me for my general Midwestern kind of confusion. But why is this art and not graffiti? I mean, y'all, I'm not, like I said, I'm not cultured. I've never been to the Louvre, or if you're from the Midwest, the Louvre. Uh, I've not seen the Mona Lisa except, on the internets. And I only watched the Da Vinci Code once because Tom Hanks is weird. But, quote, I went there thinking that people want that, and I wanted to see it before something happened to it, a man who only wanted to be known as Alex told the press association. He was one of the many onlookers who watched in awe as a man in a red and black jacket climbed up on a bike next to the post where the sign was bolted to and began hitting it with his hands. Now, why no one stopped this man is confusing to me. People literally just watched this man commit a crime and did nothing. The passiveness with which we have come to expect crime and do nothing about it is really interesting to me. I- And I don't mean that they should have violently attacked him or anything like that. I'm not calling for vigilante justice. It's just we've kind of become very passive. We look for an authority figure, we look for police, we look for different things. It's just very interesting how we become a society that always looks to others to fix things instead of a society that's like, what should I do in this situation? We always kind of look at, what should other people do for me in this situation? It's just interesting to me. It's just a thought. It is not in any way condoning, mob justice at all. So don't take it that way. Well, yeah, also true. The isms are bad. And good morning, excited utterance. True, Billy Murray, that's probably true. It's definitely, we have punished people so much for reacting in any way that people are afraid. I don't know how one sleeps like this. I think we need a. Oh, we have a Thor sighting. Oh, oh no. Now we have awoken. Fry has realized someone else is getting attention. This is going to be Fry has realized he's like, someone else is with mommy. This is not going to happen on my watch. Okay, in my mind, Fry talks just like Doug from Up. In fact, look, Elon Musk, I know you are very busy. I know you are incredibly busy going to Mars and such, but if you could make something that makes dogs' thoughts come out like Doug from Up, I don't want to have Neuralink for me, but if you could make Fry just talk like Doug for all times, that would be awesome. Because I just tend to narrate as Doug for Fry most of the time. So the man left and then returned a few minutes later after he realized his hands would not release the sign with bolt cutters. So man realizes tools work. Amazing. Banksy's thought-provoking street art. What is it's military. I don't stop military drones. Look, y'all, I don't get military. I don't get modern art. I just don't. Fry, do not go after Thor. Thor will kick your butt, okay? Oh, and he's showing your butt. Good morning, Christine. And EU, I should be able to make that unless the children go insane. Um, in sadder news, this piece of human garbage needs to be, and I have to use the very special mug that my very special eviler twin, per Mr. Mo, because he gave me this cup, the mug with the jug with the jugs. Uh, she is excommunicated from the women tribe. Or the lady tribe. She is now just a female because of what she did. But a boyfriend returned home from a trip to find his girlfriend had tied his 80-year-old mother to the bed with yellow twine, beat her, and left her laying in her own waste. Y'all, I can't. Snake Island, Snake Island. She is from the Nancy Pelosi's 40-year-old boobs cup. She has been excommunicated from the female tribe. She is just a human now. A 41-year-old woman in Michigan, Dave, we're following this case because this woman, ugh, is facing a possible life sentence for allegedly torturing her boyfriend's elderly mother while he was on a vacation with his children, tying the 80-year-old woman to the bed and severely torturing her until she was eventually found unresponsive in her own waste. Judge Kimberly Wigan on Wednesday ordered Laura Catherine Tinsdale to be bound over in Macomb County Circuit Court to stand trial on one count each of torture. Now, it's very, very rare to see a charge of torture these days. But this woman, look, like I said, chucked directly into Pluto, as far as I'm concerned. First-degree abuse of a vulnerable adult, unlawful imprisonment, and third-degree domestic violence. How is it third-degree domestic violence? Look, you are in a turtle suit, ma'am, for your own... Look, you are locked away, ma'am, for your own safety. Let me explain to you. Here's what we need to... What people don't understand about America's justice system is that... America is so great that this woman is protected. She is given, in fact, the greatest gift of the presumption of innocence. For her safety, she is locked away from us because us, general people, when we are hearing these things, we would like to send them to Snake Island or launch them directly into the sun, allegedly in Minecraft. But the laws we have put in place save her from us acting rashly and emotionally. In fact, the laws look at every single thing and they have levels of punishment that go with it. They actually, go through and categorize what she did. Does she understand how lucky she is that mob rule doesn't happen? I mean, the fact that she did this in America and she will now stand trial with a jury of her peers is a testament to what our founding fathers built. It's not a perfect system. It doesn't work the way it's supposed to all the time. And it's, it's infuriating. I'm so pissed off. I can't even say the word. It does kind of happen. I understand that. It's not a perfect system. There's a lot to be desired. But the law protects her from what we would like to do when we hear about these things. When we hear about terrible, terrible crimes, when our first gut reaction is to work with, our emotions, the law is there to protect, to make sure we slow down and think. Sometimes. Good morning, Rosamond Ranch. Good morning, Sarah Adams. Sometimes it does. And, it's not perfect. It is It's not perfect. It's not, it doesn't work, you know, the greatest way it's supposed to work. But it does protect from we hear this and, you know, logic goes out the window. You want to react emotionally, but our laws are there to, attempt to make this do not react, Fry. Thor will beat you up. Let's continue after I'm done with my rant. But I think Steve Gosney pointed that out once that every criminal in America is lucky when they do a heinous thing, that they have done it here because it is not, a country where there are no questions asked and you can just be renditioned, allegedly. Look, Dale Gribble says it already happens. Rusty Shackelford is my name, okay? Allegedly. And to the one Fed guy who has to watch this for me, you're welcome. And please press the like button, sir. Uh, let's see. Under Michigan state law, a person convicted of torture faces a maximum sentence of life in a state correctional facility. I'm okay with that. On the remaining charges, Tinsdale faces an additional 35 years behind bars. Also okay with that. According to a press release from the Macomb County Prosecutor's Office, Tinsdale's boyfriend on June 21st, 2023, returned home from a 5-day trip with his kids and discovered his mother, quote, with her hands tied together, restrained to the bed, severely beaten and laying in her own urine and feces, end quote. The Macomb County Daily reported that Tinsdale used yellow twine to bind the elderly woman's hands to her bed. Quote, the defendant's boyfriend left his mother in her care. When he came home from his trip, the defendant was intoxicated and he found his mother unresponsive, end quote. Weingran said, per the Macomb Daily, the victim was rushed to the hospital where she was admitted and placed into the intensive care unit in critical condition, the prosecutor said. During the boyfriend's trip, authorities claimed that Tinsdale was the only person charged with the care for his mother. Quote, the torture and abuse allegedly inflicted upon a defenseless elderly woman is a grim testament to the darkest corners of our society. Macomb County Prosecutor Peter J. Lucido out. Fry is going to join the most feral. So she is being held on $200,000 bond. I don't know why she has a bond. I feel like torture should be an automatic no bond. Like, I don't know. Look, for her safety, I think she should stay in solitary because, look, the boyfriend has exercised immediate and immense self-control that he allowed her to be taken into police custody, okay? So, yeah. And apparently she has a record of domestic violence from 2015 and 2019. She was charged with domestic violence, but those charges were dismissed. She is going to make her first appearance in circuit court on January 8th. So maybe we will follow this case. I am so irritated with this woman. I cannot even speak. This woman is ridiculous. I don't understand if the boyfriend. The problem is in an abusers of any kind are very charming in the first place. They're very charming. They can hide. No one is a monster to begin with. You wouldn't hang out with a monster. You wouldn't, love a monster. They don't start out that way. It doesn't start out that way, you know, it's bits and drops and little pieces until you're completely stuck. So, good morning, Eris, or not Eris, Charlotte. So, I do want to follow this case. She annoys the ever living snot out of me, and she still looks drunk in this picture. So, I don't know if this was right after she was arrested and she was in the turtle suit. But I'm okay with her remaining in the turtle suit. It is the Mondayest Thursday ever. In other news, apparently the Idaho murders autopsy report has come out and the findings are interesting, apparently. I have not really followed this case. I will tell you that just following the Delphi case and keeping the children alive and attempting to keep the house clean and, you know, making sure laundry is done. I cannot keep up with all the cases. So this Idaho case has been one that's kind of fallen to the wayside. So let's see what's going on with the Idaho case. The Idaho murder autopsy report of the 4 university students revealed that they suffered multiple stab wounds from a large knife. If this is old rerun news, tell me, you guys, because I have not, like I said, I haven't kept up with this case. So I clicked it because, again, I haven't kept up and it was something new that popped up. Yeah, she does have those, Kubrick, you know, Charles Manson, The Family eyes. Yes, I did a video about it yesterday. I did kind of a separate single video. Well, yeah, I mean, that seems to be apparent. Let me see if there's anything, uh, multiple stab wounds from a large knife. Well, there Sherlock Holmes. We are the Hardy Boys were needed for this. Good morning, reindeer. The Independent stated the victims were okay. These are all things that the autopsy findings ruled their deaths homicide by stabbings. Are you kidding me? That's what you reported? Okay, wait, let's a more recent do, 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 do. No, no. They just, this entire article was this bold part right here. This is the most ridiculous clickbaity thing ever. The autopsy reports indicated their deaths were homicide by stabbing. Now, this is brand new news, guys. We had never known this. I don't know how I feel about tearing down the house. I can see both sides of the argument. And this is a problem I have with a lot of things is I can argue vociferously on both sides. So I see my heart goes out to the parents that sent their kids off to, you know, go to college and be safe and maybe have a little bit of wild time. And you never think that anything like this would happen, just like the Gainesville Ripper. I will have to do a separate video about that today, but I haven't really kept up with um but I also feel like you should not tear down the house until the case is done so that any little bit of evidence that could be there, it you know, don't tear it down yet. I understand the heart part of it. I understand wanting to burn down the place that all that terror and horror happened. And I understand the feelings part of it, but I don't understand the logic part of it. And that's really where I get stopped up because I can really argue both sides. And that's where my mom was like, "You should be a lawyer." And I'm like, "Oh no, mother, my face is contempt of court. I cannot keep my face is all caps bold and underlined. You have no idea." Good morning, Bobby Baloney and Vale Hammer. So, this is nothing new, because of course it isn't. Oh, crud. So, in ridiculous damn news that the defense should have done their damn jobs, Texas killer Caitlin Armstrong, who killed another Mo, so she's automatically guilty no matter what, claims she was pregnant while on the run in Costa Rica for killing pro cyclist, lawyers claim. Well, defense lawyers, this would be something you should have told the jury. Convicted killer Caitlin Armstrong was reportedly pregnant when she was arrested in Costa Rica and dragged back to Texas for gunning down her love rival, according to a new bombshell court filing. The murderer's lawyers made the shocking claim in a document filed earlier this month asking for a new trial, arguing Armstrong might have received a lighter punishment if the jury knew she'd been expecting. This is almost like it's did you have a stutter impairment that day where you mute involuntarily? Was there something that I don't know? Did you have like a forget-me-not day and you just couldn't remember? Because these are all things you could have said in the first trial, sweetheart, sugar boobs. Sweetie, you killed a Mo. I have no sympathy for you, okay? Also, ma'am, just because you were pregnant doesn't mean you had any less responsibility. No, no. No, that means you were even more of a monster if you were carrying a child, you were giving life and taking a life. No. I was going to say sugar tits, but I changed it. I don't know. Maybe the Nancy Pelosi mug is making me eviler. I don't know. And can she even prove she was pregnant? I'm going to need to see a test and an ultrasound. It was Rosemary's Baby. It was like, oh my gosh, it was Ratatouille. Instead of under the toque, it was the umbilical cord. Now, to be fair, I will say that on my 5th pregnancy with my middle son, I did tell Mr. Mo to shave his head because I really, really I really thought he would be very smexy as a bald man, and I thought he would look very sexy at the time. Now, looking back, what he did look like was that he was on the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Oh, he looked terrible. He has such a divvy head, and it was horrible. He will not let me ever choose a haircut again. In fact, I don't make any hair choices whatsoever. I don't. Now, we had a 6th child, so it's not like I found him horribly ugly, but yeah, he did look like he, should have been getting donations and possibly have a GoFundMe. It was not a good look. He's like, yeah, we're not hanging any of those pictures. But yeah, I never unalived someone. I may have eaten SpaghettiOs. I may have, craved. No, that is not. This is diet, so it's Coke Zero with lime juice. I like cold caffeine. I do not like coffee. So I like Coke Zero with lime. Now I have been drinking I'm trying this. So when Amazon did their Black Friday thing or Green Monday or Cyber Monday or whatever the hell it is, now that we're on a tangent, I did get this like mushroom hot coffee or hot chocolate that's supposed to help you with mental focus, and it's not working, if you could tell. No, there is not a. This is me sober. Poor Mr. Mo. Uh, Back to the story though. Um, the defense claims that she would have gotten possibly a lighter punishment if the jury knew she'd been expecting. Armstrong, 35, was sentenced to 90 years in prison last month for the May 2022 shooting death of rising professional cyclist Anna Mo Wilson in a case that sent investigators on a 43-day international hunt for the killer. Quote, Caitlin has also been pregnant twice, one occasion of which was during or near the time of her arrest, states the filing obtained by the Daily Mail. No, they're not the funny mushrooms. They're supposed to be the good ones that help you with um something or other. Look, I don't know, y'all. I was just look, to be very real with you, this past year has been in turns the most awesome year because I swear to goodness, the children are lovely. I love children. I love my children. I'm getting a panic room. But this year has been alternately the greatest year because I am doing my dream job. I am doing, the newsy news. I have found my tribe. You guys are awesome, and I love you all so much. But, and I will be making a video about this, a Mo's musing. Um, uh, I did not know about this, but I had finally got the youngest, most feral in school, and I did not realize that I had not dealt with feelings of my first husband's passing for like all the years that it had. So weird thing, but delayed grief is a thing. And then I had my diagnosis. So it has been the weirdest damn year ever. So I finally have started feeling much better. I'm looking forward to the new year. But I did buy this mushroom hot chocolate thinking it was going to help maybe with my mood a little bit. Uh, it was a semi-sweet chocolate kind of year. It was a baker's chocolate kind of year. You can make it. So it is an all sorts of weird year. I will be talking about it because I think it's a weird thing, but let's get back to the thing as I've gone on tangent number 3,332. Look, y'all, look, this is female privilege at its finest. I am done with this woman. Look, I don't care if she was pregnant with octuplets. She's still unalived someone. I don't understand if it, so what, she's going to blame it on hormones? We can't have it both ways. If women want to, not have men say, "Oh my gosh, she's acting, witchy. Is she on her, on her cycle, kind of thing?" Then we can't always have, then we can't then also use it as a Malton Bailey for, like, well, I was pregnant, my hormones made me do it. No, it's not. You cannot have it both ways, ma'am. You are either a strong, independent whammons who, unalive someone. Regardless, you made your own choices. As a woman who's been pregnant 6 times, I can tell you, I never unalived anyone. Never, not once. And I even was, like craving weird things and Mr. Mo wouldn't get me the right stuff. Still alive, So I'm sorry, but no, you do not get to have it both ways. You can't say, well, don't judge me, don't, use any of my hormonal stuff as a weapon against me. I'm just a human being just like you, and then say, oh no, wait, I was pregnant. It was my hormones, feel sorry for me. No. Dennis Heaton. Two things can be true at the same time. And Again, nothing stopped your defense. I don't think their mouths were super glued together. I don't think, their hands were untied or were tied. I don't think anyone had a surgical mask over their face. So there was nothing that ever stopped them from saying any of this. So if this was actually a feature of your psychosis and your thought process, then this is something that you could have brought up, but you didn't because you didn't want to. So that's enough. I am done and tired of you, ma'am. And you unalived a Mo, and you're convicted. So you're guilty, and I don't care. There you go. I'm guessing she miscarried at some point. I'm trying to, let's see. Well, okay, here, wait. The filing paints her as a daughter of an alcoholic mother whose dad abandoned her and who was the victim of SA. Uh, Quote, as she struggled in her childhood friend, who also recalled Caitlin was the victim of multiple instances of actual or attempted SA, her lawyer wrote, the pregnancy claim raises some suspicion, however, considering Armstrong received plastic surgery during her time on the run in Costa Rica. Yes, you would not be able to get a surgery without a pregnancy test, even though I am spayed and neutered. Well, both me and Mr. Mo are. I still had to take a test before getting my spinal thingy that didn't work. She went under the knife for a $6,000 nose job and brow lift, both of which are typically not permitted for pregnant women. Armstrong initially tried to dodge the required lab work that would detect a pregnancy, but relented after her cosmetic surgeon told her it was required. The pregnancy angle could be another desperate attempt at freedom by Armstrong, who has repeatedly tried to avoid repercussion for the horrifying murder. Good morning, Giraffe Girl. Yeah, no, there's no way that she could. I, yeah, I need to see the lab work. I don't trust this woman as far as I could, hammer throw her down an Olympic, tossing field. I just don't. She ran away. She pretended she was her sister. She tried to go to Costa Rica. No, I don't trust you. In odd and interesting news before I get to my recipe, Peter Kirkton's, look, I don't know how to pronounce the U with the little dotty things, so I have probably, mispronounced his name. Last meal. I always like figuring out the last meals. One day I'm going to do a stream where I just make last meals of people. I don't know why I find it fascinating. I just do. I'm a weirdo. Look, the things that fascinate me, I have no idea. So, I'm going to guess Peter Kirkton, aka the Vampire of Dusseldorf or the Dusseldorf Monster, a German serial killer who operated in the city of Dusseldorf, along with taking the lives of people he even used to SA people. He wreaked havoc between the 25th of May, 1913, and the 7th of November, 1912, or 1929, sorry. Furthermore, Kirkton even participated in hideous crimes such as arson and attempted murders. Well, I would think hideous crimes would be the deaths, but okay. A German forensic scientist named Karl Berg described Kirkton as, quote, the king of sexual perverts, end quote. I don't know. Have you heard of Epstein? I'm just shy. Or Albert Fish? He was found guilty on 9 counts of murder. Furthermore, the court even learned he had attempted murder an additional 7 times. For his crimes, he was sentenced to death by beheading. He was unalived in July 1931, because nothing else was happening around then. At the time of his death, he was 48 years old. The name Vampire of Dusseldorf originated because there were times when he attempted to drink the blood of his victims' wounds. Interesting. His last meal was Wiener Schnitzel, fried potatoes, and a bottle of white wine. Well, if you're gonna go out, I'd have just asked for a box of wine. I mean, or, okay, let's be honest, y'all, just 4 White Claws. In a 1965 film titled The Vampire of Dusseldorf, uh, they went along with the life and crimes of Peter Kürten. According to IMDb, the synopsis of the film reads, quote, "The true story of Peter Kürten, a serial killer who committed 9 murders and many other offenses in Dusseldorf during the Great Depression era." So there you go. What were his last words? His last words were, "Tell me after my head is chopped off, I will still be able to hear, at least for a moment, the sound of my own blood gush." Uh, okay, tell me, after my head is chopped off, will I still be able to hear, at least for a moment, the sound of my own blood gushing from the stump of my neck? That would be the pleasure to end all pleasures. Y- You know, some people just cannot be reformed. Some people will never live in the zip code of do right. There is like a general area of do right, and some people will just never live there. Even close to there, not even in the outskirts, the suburbs, even the rural areas surrounding. Nope, nope. This guy, Snake Island. I don't even think the snakes would touch him. He'd be the only one to survive Snake Island. Holy good night, nurse. And on that note, I don't know if this was the best segue, but I do have the recipe for the meatloaf. So I know it's a terrible, terrible segue. But okay, for smaller families, I think I figured this out because I make this for giant families. 1 pound of beef, however you like it. So if you like ground sirloin, chuck, lean, whatever, I usually just buy what's on. Okay, to be honest with you, we buy the big giant tubes, and if it's one of our quarterly fill-ups, we go to Sam's Club and we just buy a box of the tubes of the ground beef. It's like usually comes up to about $300, but we portion it out and we have meat for about 4 months or 5 months. Now, depending on how many people you have for meatloaf, and I'll kind of tell you guys how you can make individual meatloafs. What I like to do is I like to add 1 tube of sausage. Now, it's not the breakfast sausage. Uh, I don't find that there's any difference, but some people might be more discerning. So, I typically like to buy either the Italian or the sage, depending. I have terrible handwriting. I have the handwriting of the guy from the serial killer in Seven. Um, you add minced onion. I like a lot of onions, so it's really to taste. Garlic. Now I use fresh, or you can use the, jug o garlic that, no one should have, but I do. So again, to taste, I then what I use is Italian breadcrumbs, then Worcestershire sauce. So I'm just gonna put W sauce. Now, my secret ingredient, which is definitely not a secret, there are packages of like a meatloaf seasoning, and I'll get one of those packages. Now, if you want to go really fancy dancy, they do have panko breadcrumbs. I like those. So you can do that. But the meatloaf seasoning, I just put about half of that in because I don't really like salt too much. A little bit of milk, a little bit, an egg, one or two, depending on how viscosity, and just a little bit of ketchup or barbecue sauce, depending on how you want to, fancy dancy it up. You can make a barbecue sauce one. Now, you can get creative and you can add bacon, you can add cheese, you can make it bacon meatloaf. You can do all sorts of things. I love doing that, especially if you have like leftover bacon. Look, when you have a giant family, sometimes you have leftovers and you gotta throw things. Sometimes there's more cornflake that there's more breadcrumb than meat, but you mix this all together. And then what you can do if you are a small family or you're one person, they have meatloaf tins. Yes, my light or my mic. Uh, well, leftover bacon generally doesn't happen in my house unless I hide the bacon because I know I'm going to have things that I want to put it in. But you can put it in the muffin tin, and you've got your own little, either leave it raw, freeze it in the muffin tin, and then every night, if you want to say have meatloaf that night, you pull out the little puck o meatloaf that's frozen, you know, and you put it in the oven and, put the ketchup or barbecue sauce or gravy over top, depending on how you like to style your meatloaf. Some people are purists and don't like the ketchup. Some people like barbecue sauce. Some people like gravy. Some people are weird and don't do anything on top of theirs. I don't know. But if you have just, or you can pre-cook them and then you just pop them in the microwave and you have meatloaf ready for you. What I used to do when I was doing big uh freezer meal days is I would go ahead. Well, not everyone's a meatloaf person. I totally get it. Look, I made I make homemade sloppy joe sauce. I hate sloppy joes. Hate, hate it. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I've never tried that. I will have to I don't think I've ever tried a Lincolnberry. Yes, whatever flair. If you have all the flares. But it that's really my secret is I like to add sausage. So it's not haram. It is definitely not kosher. You do mix ham or pork with beef. You can bedazzle. You can put edible glitter on your meatloaf if you want, but it is Mr. Mo's favorite meal. And that kind of gets me to my musing because Mr. Mo has been a rock star this year. With my diagnosis and everything, he has done a lot. He's really stepped up. And I would like to appreciate him more. Oh, I will definitely look at that. I'll have to see if we actually sell it or I have to buy it at IKEA, but I will look at that. Yeah, he definitely so when I texted Mr. Mo a picture of Mr. Sal's gift to me, he's like, he thought that I'd bought it. And I said, no, someone made this for me out of love. And he's like, no, out of spite. Oh, that is a good idea. But, one of the things that I've really been thinking about lately is looking outside myself and appreciating the things that people have been doing around me, and Mr. Mo has definitely stood up and stepped up, and a lot of the guys in our life, um so I believe Gillet is, let me look it up because I don't wanna steer you guys wrong. I believe it is a okay. It is a gelatin dessert? A gelled substance. So, I believe you just cook down, um, the fruits with a little bit of sugar, and it makes sort of a saucy syrupy, and you can add gelatin maybe? I could be look, I am not Andrew Zimmerman and or, any one of look, I don't know. I'm not on Iron Chef. I have no idea. I only watch I only watch the baking channels. I have no idea. Oh, okay, yeah. So it becomes more like a sauce, but it's thicker. So you add pectin and it turns into a more gelled thing. So it's kind of like a jelly. Yeah, that makes more sense to me. But appreciating the men in our lives, talking to Baker and talking to, uh, Kaiser really made me think about, how often maybe we take the guys in our lives, the good guys in our lives for granted. So I definitely wanted to do some nice things for Mr. Mo. Oh, it works really, really well. I got the one, I think that was $25 on the Amazon Cyber Monday. It works really well, and they give you an extra bulb. And thank you for becoming a member, Aaron. I have actual paper on the way. I'm going to paper my board with newspaper, tissue paper, and decoupage. So it is going to look fancy dancy when it goes back up. I have got new stuff going. I have had all of the wonderful ideas. I The thing is, I'm feeling so much better, and I feel like decoupage, it's basically you kind of glue things together. You use a loose glue and you kind of like wallpaper glue kind of thing. So you just stick things on over each other. But I'm feeling so much better, and I feel like Dumbo with a feather, only I don't know what I did to feel so much better these past few days. So, so it's like, oh my goodness. Uh, I'm like, I'm feeling so much better. I need to know what my feather is. I need to know what my feather is so I can keep doing it. Yes, that is a great thing. You know, I will say this new year, this new start, this just general positivity and counting my blessings, being more gracious, that kind of thing. I definitely um feel like a new leaf is turning over. So that is my musing for today. If you don't like meatloaf, I'm sorry for the meatloaf talk. Look, it is a staple here, and it is Mr. Mo's favorite meal, so I will be making that with mashed potatoes because carbs be damned, apparently. Though we are talking about Weight Watchers for both of us, because he refuses to do low carb, and I am kind of tired of being the only one trying to eat healthy. So we're going to try to do this together, get more energy, and Well, look, I am not a fan of sloppy joes and most people like them, so I understand. Look, everyone has a thing. So that is we have tried it with barbecue. I'm just doing traditional ketchup this time, but we like the barbecue. We like oh no. No, no. I Would Do Anything for Love is like my best song, and the moronic people that can't figure out what he wouldn't do for love is it I can't with people who can't figure it out. You just have to listen to the lyrics. It's not a hard thing to understand. He won't cheat on her. He won't run around. It's in the song. In yeah, it is the greatest 137-minute song ever. And the music video is great too. Look, I loved Meatloaf. Why did he have to die? And Kevin Spacey still lives. It was cinematic. Oh no, you are fine. Hey, my mom did Ritz crackers, but okay. I will tell you guys, I started cooking in self-defense because I didn't like the textures of my mom's food. My mom did her best. She was working full time. She had us. So this was it's no way a criticism. Yes, he did die. Um, but I I like it with the breadcrumbs, but I definitely have a textury thing. So do whatever you like. This is just my recipe. Feel free to make it your own or not follow it at all. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to yourself. Say something nice to someone else. Look, it's a tough life. It's a tough world. This might be the only nice thing that someone hears, and it's a great and easy and nice way for introverts to interact. Now, I will be putting out some videos, short ones of kind of, like the hand worker jokes and things like that that are shorter and that you can share with different people just to try to get different people maybe that are looking for more maybe comedy. So I'm going to put those under different kind of categories with tags. Look, I'm trying to tagulate different things. I don't even know algorithms and such. Who knows? But they will be stories that you have heard before from the youngest, most feral. So you are not having a stroke or a time warp. You have heard these stories before. I just figured I would tag them in different things to see if I could get different people that maybe aren't in the court sort of sphere to come over to the newsy news for different things. I don't know. Algorithms are weird. Computers are weird. I have no idea how to work these things. But just thought I'd give you a heads up. I will see you guys later. I am sending you all off to the O.J. Simpson closing arguments with Vices, so you should be redirected there. Have a wonderful day. People are weird, but we are all weird together.